So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Corey and York, for walking us through the Strength Finders, um, understanding our top 5 strengths and how to utilize them as we progress and move forward. The next section we're going to do is really related to the boot camp. And the boot camp really starts today. And we will transition from today over, pretty much almost the next year at just figuring out how do we communicate more effectively using our strengths. And so the first thing to recognize and look at is that there are 5 types of communication. You have written, verbal, nonverbal, listening, and visual. And so written communication, there's several forms. It can be email, reports, social media, your tweets you're putting out there. Those are written forms of communication that all have the same goal. We want to disseminate information in a clear and concise manner. One thing to remember about written communication is once you've written it and it's out there, it lives on forever. So you want to make sure that you're writing it well and that the content that you're putting out is something that you're proud to promote. Verbal communication, this is something that takes place when we're speaking to others. You've got informal verbal communication, so you're hanging out with your friends and family chatting, or there's formal during a scheduled meeting or a scientific presentation. There's also nonverbal. So what actually happens, when there are no actual words taking place? Includes facial expressions, your posture, eye contact, or do you move your hands, touching, different things for nonverbal communication. While we're not saying anything, it still has an impact. Listening, being an active listener is an important part of communication because if we cannot listen to a person speaking, we're not effectively engaging with them. And last but not least, visual. What do we see on TV, on social media, PowerPoint? Instagram is an image-centered communication style. So we're continuously being stimulated through visual content. So during this boot camp, we're really going to emphasize the first 4 different types of communication. The first type is through your personal statement, which we'll begin working on today, all the way through next year, getting some help and feedback from ACS and faculty that will be joining us. The second part is verbal, nonverbal, and listening communication. So during the boot camp in Atlanta on Sunday, January 22nd, everyone will give a good 5-minute presentation about themselves. Very easy, shouldn't feel too stressed out about being able to share, because one of the good things is that you know yourself better than anybody in the room. So let's start with the written communication and the personal statement. The personal statement allows you to communicate your unique story, demonstrate your potential, as well as why you should be selected over others in going to grad school, getting a job, joining a university, maybe later on as faculty, or just other competitions, different types of grants. Maybe you're thinking to apply to the NSF GRFP fellowship. So this personal statement would be important for that. And during the boot camp, what we will be working on and kind of focusing on is the graduate school application, as well as the NSF GRFP fellowship. Being able to write the personal statement for these 2 things. So this is going to be our timeline for developing the personal statement and receiving feedback. So after today, you'll begin to prepare your 1 to 3 page personal statement which will be due on December 16th, 2022. And this will allow time for ACS and faculty to review your personal statements and be able to provide you with very personalized and impactful feedback. So when you come to Atlanta, you'll be able to have one-on-one experiences that will provide feedback and guidance for your personal statement. After the boot camp in January, you'll begin to craft your 3-page personal statement and have it reviewed by our team. And then in the summer or fall of 2023, you'll be ready to submit your personal statement with great confidence that wherever you're submitting to, you're going to be accepted. Now, I know that there are some seniors on the call, and so submitting an application, especially for grad school in fall, might be a little bit later. But I think the fact that we're coming together in January will still allow you the opportunity to apply to certain programs that may have later application due dates, or if you qualify, apply to our wonderful ACS Bridge program, which if you would like more information about, please send me an email and I'd be more than happy to share. So what actually goes into your personal statement? There are 3 basic components. The first is your background, telling a little bit about yourself. Your motivation. Why are you looking to pursue a research-based graduate degree? And the third is, how have your past experiences and accomplishments in academia or even outside of academia, how have they helped predict your future successes? And so opportunities that may be outside of academia would be volunteering, or maybe you participated in sports, you were a coach, you were the team captain. All those experiences will be important to highlight how you can be successful in the profession of your choosing. And so in order to do that, you need to highlight your values, your strengths, and your interests. All 3 things that we've talked about for the past 2 hours. And so here I want to give a little example. Rory. Rory is a 20-year-old and she has a Native American background. And her top values are altruism, community, knowledge, health, and structure. And so when we went through the activity of, ranking all of those different values and then finding in that high category, what were the top 5 values? Those are important to convey while writing the personal statement. And so Rory's are listed there. And then the top strengths, her top 5 strengths from the StrengthFinder tool: connectedness, activator, maximizer, achiever, arranger. And so you will see how she can use all of these different things to convey her message. And so here's some jotted down examples. And this is just high level, kind of just jotting down different things. She'll go through and later on as she expounds her personal statement to flush out these concepts and ideas. But this is how she conveys her values. She says she highlights that she's Native American background, she had grown up in a rural community. She went to community college and she respects the tribal hierarchy and traditions. So here she's showing her sense of community, how she respects structure. And these are going to be important as she goes to construct the personal statement. Next, you talk about the motivation to actually pursue your degree. So for Rory, she talks about her values of community and health. She maximizes her strength of connectedness and being a maximizer and an achiever. So here she jots down, she wants to contribute to improvement of health and prosperity of home community and the US overall. So in this section, she's going to not only show her values and strengths, but here are now some of her interests. In the last section, how would the past experiences and accomplishments in academia or outside, how would they help predict future successes? And so in this part of the statement, she's really highlighting all of the values and strengths. And so here she writes, she's organized a group of student volunteers to educate Native American youth on STEM. She's volunteered at nursing homes. So she discovered that health challenges of the elderly. She started multidisciplinary Science Geek book club on a campus. She wants to start a nonprofit company that supports science education in rural communities. So she's talked about her strength as being a connector, an activator, maximizer, achiever, and arranger. So this is your task. Think about the 5 values, and it might be good to just write them out. Those 5 values that you identified as being your top, as well as the top 5 strengths that you had. And start to develop a personal statement answering those three questions. Talk about your personal background, what motivates you, and how have your experiences helped you to become who you want to be in the future. And so then you're going to develop a personal statement. And before the December 16th deadline, a 1-page statement is all that you will need for this first draft. And after you've written this first draft, you're then going to want to get feedback from friends or mentors. And it's always important to get feedback. They can help you, of course, with the punctuation and grammar structure. But your friends and your mentor know you very well. And I know sometimes when we write the personal statement, we may forget about some of the great things that we've done that can be impactful. So you may have a friend to say, wait, didn't you start that group like maybe a year or so ago? Or weren't you involved in this? And so those will be great things to actually add. And then send your personal statement in Word format to the bridge@acs.org website. And these things are all due by December 16th. And to help us out so we definitely know that this is your personal statement, in the subject line, be sure to add Bootcamp Personal Statement. So getting started, a few other tips and tricks to help. Free writing. This is important. Sit down and just think about and write whatever comes to your mind without stopping. Don't pay attention at this stage and portion to grammar and spelling. Don't worry about page limit. Just free write. What are things coming to mind as you try to address those 3 items? Then take a break for about 1 to 2 days. Don't look at the page. And then after about 1 to 2 days, come back and read your first draft, and then think about the red line, the important components, rearrange, adjust language, and edit. Then be sure to share it with that friend or mentor because they'll also help with the editing and the grammar, but they also may highlight and recognize something that you may have forgotten. Receive the feedback and edits from your friends, and then send your statement to the Bridge email address. And once again, know that a 1-page document is going to be sufficient for your submission by December 16th. Some next steps, pretty much crafting your personal statement and research statement by July 2023. If you are interested in applying to the NSF GRFP fellowship, you will have to do a research statement. You just let us know and we'll be able to help support you in crafting that as well. Craft your list of publications and awards. Review of your statement by experts. So our experts are going to help you between now and the end of next summer. And the review of publications and awards section by ACS as well by now and the end of next summer. Are there any questions? That's all I have at this point. Are there any questions about the personal statement and the process, what's expected?